all the joyous scene of a Citadel victory in Lexington, Virginia. Hello, I'm John Rawl, and this is Citadel Grayline. Good to have you back here, and that was the scene of some old core folks, I guess you could call them that, enjoying a Silver Shako victory against the VMI Cadets. This is Citadel Grayline. This is where we get together and discuss all things Bulldogs. And we love to get your feedback here on the program. You can join us at 843-779-8496. That's the number that you could text in. You also can email us, citadel@yall.com. A return to victory for the Bulldog football team, and more importantly, the first SoCon victory ever for Coach Maurice Drayton as the rival Cadets go down in Lexington, Virginia. I'm joined here on this program by Andrew Miller and Thomas Scruggs. Andrew is with the Charleston Post and Courier. Andrew, hello, and Silver Shako victory to you, sir.
Yeah, to you guys as well. You know, I think one of the things that I said last week was it didn't matter how they played. It didn't matter what it looked like. And it was ugly, but they needed to win, and they got it. So I give the Citadel team and the coaching staff a ton of credit for just grinding out a way to win a game against a rival. And that's exactly, there's really not a whole lot you can say aesthetically about that game that was pleasing, because there really wasn't a whole lot. But you know what? At the end of the day, they got the W, and that really is all that matters. You know, do you feel better after a win like that, or do you feel better after, like, say, playing a really competitive game against a Mercer or a Furman where you definitely should have won, and then you end up losing those games? And this, again, you're in the business for one reason, and that's to win, and they won. So that's the bottom line. Kind of turn the page and move on.
All right, and that's what we're going to do here. I can't turn the page too far, though, Andrew, because I do believe when we watched that little video of the official, unofficial fight song being sung by alumni. Thomas, you look really familiar in that video.
Yeah, John, I can neither confirm nor deny. So, as you said, we're a bunch of old core guys. So, that was our fight song when we were there, and we were just having a little bit of fun with a bunch of VMI folks. What you didn't get, the clips you didn't get, we sang the alma mater quite loudly and proudly. We sang,
in the bar?
The CI. Oh, yes. And we sang the CITADEL chant a couple of times. They didn't appreciate that very much. So it was a good was had in Lexington. I'll say that.
Well, that's good. And sounds like y'all had a fantastic time. In fact, while we have it on our mind, the celebration on our mind, here's a nice little picture of you and the guys. Tell us who we're looking at there.
So we are looking at mostly Delta 95 there. Those are my Delta 95 classmates. The guy in the middle is Sean Cook. He is not a Delta guy, but actually he used to teach at VMI. He was a VMI instructor for a few years. Last time I went up to Lexington, he did host us at his tailgate. And Sean is what you would call a badass. Sean was Special Forces, Delta Force, Ranger, all the above. He runs 100-mile marathons still to this day. So, but yeah, that's us in the Citadel. They call it North parking lot at VMI. Okay. So that was us. That's my flag that traveled from Columbia to Lexington and back. So it's back home safely where it belongs, as is the Silver Shako. Of course, not in Columbia, down in Charleston.
All right. Well, sounds like you had a great weekend. And this, I think, from what I gathered, is something you've done a few times going up to VMI for this beautiful fall setting there in the Shenandoah Valley.
Yes, sir. And I will add that I am 3-0 in Lexington. So we need to continue this tradition. I will say I was very surprised. The evening and the morning were cold. By the time they kicked off, it was a very balmy 71 degrees. And in their high school stadium, we were in the east stands directly in the sun. So that was rough. But other than that, it was a great day.
But their high school stadium, I'm pretty sure their high school stadium does have two different sides, though.
Yeah, it does have two different sides. We can't say much about our East stands right now. I made my feelings known when I was at the Citadel earlier this week about it didn't matter what we have to do to get our East sides at least looking better than VMI's.
Yeah. Well, it is a nice setting there. A big victory, Maurice Drayton. Congratulations to you, sir, and getting off the 0-4, whatever it was, in SoCon play as his tenure as the head coach continues, but he got that important first SoCon victory, and we do wish him a very, very happy congratulations. And a big shout out to the strength coach, because Andrew, as we discussed last week, he's had this Silver Shako getting back to Charleston on his mind for a very long time.
Yeah, and if it was kind of one of those games where, in the fourth quarter, you were wondering, late in the third quarter, and into the fourth quarter, it was kind of going to be the team that A, made the fewest mistakes, and B, had the most energy to kind of finish the game. And the Citadel obviously had a little bit more energy. The goal line stand was as good as a goal line stand as I've seen in a while, even though I think, as I recall, the Citadel had one against Charleston Southern too. So that's 2 times this season when the opposition has had the ball, first and goal inside the 5-yard line and has failed to score. So great job there by the Citadel defense. Raleigh Jackson, I thought, called a superb game. Hunter Rice, their running back, who really hurt him last year, held to 70 yards on, I think, 20 carries. So earned every single yard that he got. It was below his yards per average as well. And so I thought the defense really won that game. I mean, the offense had one really good drive to start the game, and then they had the one long touchdown pass to Tyler Cherry from Jonathan Bennett. And other than that, they didn't do a whole lot. They only had 188 yards total offense. So defense carries the day here for the Citadel.
Yes, they do. You know what carries the day for Citadel Gray Line when we get together each and every week here on the program? It is our great sponsors that help bring this to you. IPS Packaging and Automation is our title sponsor. We're also powered in part by Hood Construction, Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, and SeniorPrivate.com, which offers the Knob Knowledge question each week that we get together. In fact, let's go ahead and fire off this week's Knob Knowledge question, because we actually did not get an answer to last week's Knob Knowledge question. So we have stored up on extra goodies for all y'all, since you didn't get a correct answer in. Last week's Knob Knowledge question was, in what year was the Silver Shako Trophy first used, and who originally designed it? That was last week's question. No one correctly guessed it, so if you would have correctly guessed it, you would have got a Citadel ring sticker bundle and hat brass sticker. The correct answer for last week's Knob Knowledge question is in 1976, Colonel Jake Burroughs from the Citadel class of 1940, a former business manager of the Citadel Athletic Department and faculty athletic representative, came up with the Silver Shako Trophy and designed it. So some great history, of this Citadel football program with the Silver Shako Trophy. Now, let's forward to this week's Knob Knowledge question. And this one is kind of apropos, since politics is on our mind in a big way these days. And the winner of this week's Knob Knowledge question, if you text your answer first to us, 843-779-8496, the winner of this week's Knob Knowledge question gets a ring pack of stickers for the prize again. So that's awesome, from SeniorPrivate.com. The question is, who was the graduate in charge of the casket detail for President John F. Kennedy? If you go back to that solemn November 1963 setting during that funeral there at Washington, D.C., and in Arlington Cemetery, the gentleman leading the funeral detail, the officer, was a Citadel alumnus. Can you tell me who was the graduate in charge of the casket detail for President John F. Kennedy back in 1963? And if you can do that, you can correctly text that to 843-779-8496. You'll get all kind of goodies from SeniorPrivate.com. Speaking of SeniorPrivate.com, let me show you a few of their awesome goodies that they have at their website, SeniorPrivate.com. How about the big red patch right there? That looks great if you've got one of those tactical type hats. You can stick that on there. I think the cadets wear this on their uniform. I call them the pajama uniform. You have the Citadel Country Club. Hopefully y'all can see that real nice and pretty there. That's a nice tactical patch type deal you can get. How about the Lords of Discipline patch? Is pretty neat from SeniorPrivate.com. And then they have some stickers as well. The Old Corps sticker and the Citadel Lords of Discipline type sticker right there. And the Citadel Country Club, which is a neat little sticker you can put on your car, truck, side by side, laptop, etc. All from SeniorPrivate.com. Helmet stickers need to go out, Andrew, for Citadel football after the victory at VMI. If you don't mind,
Please up on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm here. Are you guys here? Hello, 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 hello. Andrew, Thomas,
Hello.
Thomas. I say you.
There you go.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, we got you back. Got you
Okay.
back.
Yeah, you're
Sorry,
great.
the gremlins are after us. Thomas, helmet stickers. Since we're in the subject of stickers right now, what kind of positions would you give helmet stickers to for the VMI game?
Definitely our defense, for sure. Mr. Tyler Cherry and our field. Well, I haven't mentioned field goal kicker. I mean, he kept us in the game. Kicked a 48-yard field goal into the wind in the second half. That probably would have made it from 55. So field goal kicker, the defense, and our QB and Mr. this game.
All right. What about you, Tom? Andrew, what do you have to say about that?
Froze again. My dogs are driving me nuts too.
Okay, sorry. We'll deal with the doggies here in a second. But Andrew, I was asking if you could give some accolades, attaboys, etc. Who all would you add to that list?
Technical difficulties.
Here we go again.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. I'm coming through good. So let me just go to me real quick. We're having a little internet snafu. It looks like real going on right now. Let me tell y'all while I have the opportunity about IPS packaging and automation. And when you're out cheering for the Bulldogs at Johnson-Hagood Stadium or wherever you might go, remember IPS Packaging, as they are a family-owned and operated powerhouse that's been in the packaging industry since 1976. With over 4 decades in the game, they stand tall as a leader in packaging products, automation equipment, and top-notch service. IPS Packaging and Automation plays a crucial role in the packaging processes of countless businesses and manufacturing facilities across the entire country. And a fun fact for Bulldog fans, IPS Packaging and Automation has been a proud sponsor of Citadel Athletics for the last 10 years. Discover what they can do for you. Go to the website ipack.com or call them at 800-277-7007. IPS Packaging and Automation is a proud supporter of Citadel Athletics. We got a little video from IPS. Why don't you take it away, IPS gang? All right, IPS Packaging and Automation, 800-277-7007. Let's see if we can't do a little bit better here. Andrew, you got us now, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, sorry about that. I had to reset something during that little commercial. We were asking about helmet stickers. Who are your attaboys for this VMI game?
Well, Thomas Wyatt, the outside linebacker for the Citadel, I think he had double-digit tackles. So I definitely give him one. The defense in general, as Thomas said, Tyler Cherry for sure, and then Ben Barnes the kicker. Those would be my three or four.
Yes, and then if you could give a sticker to that defensive unit with the first and goal, I think from the 2, they were able to shut down the great VMI running back, and that really was the difference in the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the third quarter, it looked like that the VMI was going to put the game away. Great goal line stand from the Citadel defense. I think that gave them some momentum and some confidence. And then I thought the Citadel offense, again, they make the one play pretty much in the entire fourth quarter. And it's that pass to Tyler Cherry, and a great pass. What's funny is I was talking to Tyler yesterday at practice, and he said he was supposed to line up in the backfield, but because Jonathan Bennett had to tie his shoe right before the play started, that he ended up having to go into the slot. And so it was supposed to be kind of a wheel route, but then it turned up to being an out and up, and totally beat the cornerback with one-on-one coverage. Beautiful ball thrown from Jonathan Bennett. I think we're going to see a little bit more passing from the Citadel this week against Samford. They're going to have to do it. They're going to have to put some points on the board, which they've really struggled with here lately.
All right. And anything Coach Drayton said from Monday's presser that you want to highlight, Andrew, because I thought he was you could tell his mood was a lot more happy.
Yeah, no doubt. The win always makes everybody happy. I think the one thing that I took out was, he wants to play boring football, and I understand that, because it's complimentary football. You try to grind the clock down as much as you can, keep your defense off the field, win the special teams battle, win the turnover battle. But you got to get a little bit more production out of that offense, a little bit more consistency from the running game. I still think that's their biggest issue right now.
All right. Well, you can reach Andrew Miller anytime. If you're lucky enough to live in the Charleston area, you can pick up a copy of the Post and Courier. But if you're away from Charleston, you can read postandcourier.com. You also can interact with Andrew, and he is on X at @APMiller_PNC, at @APMiller_PNC. And then it's apmiller@postandcourier.com is his email Addy if you want to reach out to him. You also can instantly connect with us here at Citadel Greyline when we do this show. And Hayes Lothian is back on with us, and he has a comment for the gang that we want to relay here. Hayes tells us, ugly wins are still wins. Defense was very solid. I think we still have one, maybe two in the quiver. What say you guys?
Go ahead, Thomas.
Yeah, it's going to be tough with Samford and Chattanooga. I know they're home games, but I don't know how well we match up against those teams. And then at Wofford, before we finish the season out at Clemson, I think out of those three games, in my opinion, Wofford's the most winnable. I mean, Samford just shellacked Mercer by 20 points. They scored 55 on them. So, I'm always optimistic, but if I see one opportunity for a win, I think it would be Wofford, John.
Okay. And that's an important game in the Scruggs household.
Very important, as my wife, my significant other, went to Wofford, and never fails to rub it in when they win. But, we should be sitting here talking about our second SoCon victory. I mean, to let that Furman win slip away, now when you look back at it, man, that's painful. But anyway, I think our other opportunity for a SoCon win is our best opportunity would be Wofford. It'd be great if we could steal one out of the next two at Johnson Hagood for sure.
The Dogs 3-5 right now overall, 1-4 in SoCon play. Samford is the opponent. It's going to be a 2:00 kick at Johnson Hagood on what's called Senior Day. You got two more home games left back to back with Samford, then followed by Chattanooga coming in for Homecoming 2024. Then it's two road games at Wofford, at Clemson to wrap up 2024. Any other notes we need to scratch off the list before we talk about Samford a little bit more, Andrew?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Andrew. Sorry, go ahead.
No.
No, I was just going to reiterate the fact that we won a football game with a total of 189 yards of offense. That's amazing to me. Less than 200 yards, and we won the football game. Thank you, defense. So sorry, Andrew.
No, and the other quote that I remembered from the press conference was, and this might lead into the segue about Samford, was Maurice Drayton said, "We do not match up well against Samford." And for a coach to come out and just say that in a press conference is always interesting. But I give Maurice Drayton credit where other coaches, that I've dealt with in the 30 plus years that I've been in this business, always, downplay whatever their team is and talk up the other team and really never give you what their true feelings are until after the game. Well, Maurice Drayton is not like that. Again, last year, first press conference, I think you guys remember it, where he said, "We're not a good football team." And that shocked me. And then for him to say this week, we don't match up well with these guys. That does not bode well. Although I did watch the Samford Mercer game last night, and it wasn't as bad as the score made it out to be. And when we get to the Samford, I'll expand on that.
Okay. Well, we will expand upon that in a big way. How's the Citadel looking from a health standpoint, Andrew?
And it's funny because I talked to their trainer yesterday, again at practice, and he's talked about, and somebody knock on wood here, I'll do it, that it's been a relatively injury-free season. They've had a couple of minor nicks and bruises here and there, but you're going to get that in any 12-game season. But for the most part, they haven't experienced any kind of major injuries that have kept key players out of the lineup, and hopefully that can continue.
All right. That is what we like to hear. on this Bulldog team. Let's talk about Samford, but let's first talk about Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. They're in the Columbia area, and you can call them at 803-281-2874. FranklinPlumbingSC.com is the email, the website. You can go and learn more about them. They got a $250 coupon when you go to FranklinPlumbingSC.com and discover what they can do. They have a service available Monday through Thursday. Thomas, you've used them before.
Yeah, actually for an emergency service one time, John, when we were doing a little renovation to our house, my contractor at the time ended up cutting the main sewer line. So had to call to Josh, and they had somebody here and test to the emergency side of their business.
All right. Emergency. FranklinPlumbingSC.com, the website. We appreciate their great sponsorship. Now, about those Bulldogs from Homewood who come to Johnson Hagood. This is a home game. Then there's a week off, an open week, if you will. Then Chattanooga. So the Bulldogs should just go ahead and put it all on the line this week and get that victory against the faux Bulldogs. Okay? You don't agree. Sounds fine.
His internet must be terrible where he's at.
Exactly. They don't have fiber.
Yeah, we don't have fiber, but I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on it. Okay. Yes, it's Samford coming in. The Bulldogs from Homewood are the opponent this coming week, and then you got we apologize. I do not, as they might have just mentioned there, I do not have fiber currently, but it will be here. So we hopefully will have a little bit better stream when we get back together next week. I was promised by my local provider it would be much better this week, and you know what? Evidently, it ain't. So we'll figure this out one way or the other, and I do apologize. Guys, I was just telling you, y'all both disappeared for a moment, and it's
your apology, John.
My internet provider.
So you think our defense can keep us in the game?
Yeah,
who you asking?
But again, the way they scored, it was like shank punt.
We're going to try this again. Hopefully by next week we will have entered the 21st century on this show and get some fiber as opposed to coax or whatever the heck it's called. I apologize. Let me tell y'all, I'm just going to have to sign off, it looks like, with these two guys. Let me tell y'all about Hood Construction. HoodConstruction.com is the website that you can go to learn more about this South Carolina-based business as they do projects in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and more. And they do great work. You can go see the great variety of construction projects that Hood Construction is involved in. HoodConstruction.com is the website. So we've covered the victory over VMI. We have given you a little taste of Samford. I will say, from what I gathered in the the press conference that Maurice Drayton did on Monday, that Chris Hatcher and the air attack that he will bring to Samford does present a challenge to Coach Drayton's defense. That's why he said they don't match up well, and that's really unfortunate that he has that kind of indicator going into this contest that it could be this. It's going to be a tough challenge. 2:00 is the kickoff, Johnson Hagood. Hopefully you all can make it. We are going to have a special guest next week on the show, as Tom Churchill, the proprietor of SeniorPrivate.com, has kindly agreed to come on. Hopefully we will have no problems technical-wise when that event happens next week. We apologize for some streaming issues today, but we will hopefully get them all fixed next week. And thank you again. This show is available on iTunes. If you can listen to it on iTunes, you also can find the podcast of this, the video podcast, available on YouTube. You can go search Citadel Grayline. You also can go to YouTube and search for CRM Sports, and the hundreds of shows that we've done should show up right there, and you can get a good feel of Citadel Sports by viewing Citadel Grayline. We appreciate all of you who listen and watch. We have hundreds, sometimes thousands of you each week who do that, and we couldn't do without you and to our great sponsors. Thank you to Andrew. Thank you to Thomas. We will be back next week. Thanks for everything you do. And as we always say, wrapping up the program, fall out, and of course, go Bulldogs.